The biggest mistake I ever made in life. I made many mistakes, but the biggest mistake I ever made in my life, I will tell you in this video or the next video. I don't know yet. But the reason why I am telling you this is deliberately, because if you are like me, and you are a very good person of heart, but you make mistakes in your life and you keep beating yourself up for those mistakes, I want you to realize that no matter how good you are of heart and personality, that there will always be in your life until the day you die, that you will keep on making mistakes, like things that you undeliberately hurt people without wanting, while wanting to do the opposite. You mean the opposite with it, but the effect is that you only hurt them. And sometimes wanting to help people is also hurting them. I'm now going to give you a different story that explains that. My best friend, my soulmate, he wanted to help me money-wise, not by giving me money, but giving me money advice. And he took me, in that time in my life anyway, on my weakest spot. And I didn't want his help, because he undeliberately made me feel like a failure when it comes to money. And I didn't want that anymore, because I was trying really hard to get away from my money problems or issues. And he kept on hammering on that, while I was working internally already really hard on that. So I didn't want him to remind me of that I was a failure in my money view I had at the time anyway. Doesn't mean you're a failure yourself, your whole personality. It just means you fail, so to speak, in a certain kind of topic, like I used to be with money, I have a video as well where in the video title it says money example. For the rest, I don't know how it's called anymore. If you have money issues as well, like being a shopaholic, like I used to be, and spending everything that comes in, then maybe that video can help you. Anyway, the biggest mistake, and I am so ashamed about that mistake. You have no idea, I feel so extremely bad for what I did, but I just simply didn't realize it at the time, I was at the time so angry with my sister in this case that I completely forgot a second, so to speak, about what was going on in her life. And what was going on in her life was that her grandchild, her eye apple, died of cancer at 7 years old, and I kept on beating on her verbally, and saying what I thought about her, because in my view, she was way wrong in what she was doing with my brother, my mentally handicapped brother, and I just forgot for a split second, minute, that she just was about to lose her grandchild, And that was for me the biggest mistake among plenty mistakes I ever made in my life. But I have to accept the fact, even though I am a perfectionist, and I don't want to be that anymore because that's basically just not realistic, You can't always be good of heart. You can always be good of heart, but it's not always perceived like that, or it's not always conveyed in that way. Do you know what I mean? Because basically, with hurting my sister, I only wanted to protect my mentally handicapped brother, And I completely forgot to see it from her perspective in her current life. And what I learned from Andrew Bustamante, who is an I think, CIA agent, he also wanted to save children, and I hope he spends his net profits, at least part of that, to that goal, because it's his root belief, helping children. And I learned from Andrew Bustamante, which I believe is a very valuable lesson in life, that you should, if you tell something, you should see it from your perspective, but you should also see it from the person's perspective who is getting your message. And I'm trying to do that, but I just don't know yet, at least if I succeed in that. I try to do it with this video. Tell me if I succeed. If you say yes in the comments, I succeeded. If you say no in the comments, I didn't succeed, and then I will search for a different way.